But try to move forward and get a working definition of what it means to be set on high. When we talk of being set on high, what are we referring to? What do we have at the back of our mind? It was at this point I took you, for those who were online with us last week, it was at this point I took us to Job chapter 1, reading verses 1 to 3. I read 3 different translations last week. I won't bother to do the 3 this time around, but I'm just going to do 2 so we can have an idea of what we mean when we say the Lord is setting somebody on high. In Job chapter 1, 1 to 3, in the New King James. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and shunned evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. Also his possessions were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a very large household, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. The King James described him as the greatest of all the people of the East. I won't bother to read the New Living Translation, but the New Living Translation said this man was the richest person in that entire area. That Job was the richest in the entire area. Now let's get to Message Bible. Job, let's begin from verse 1. Message Bible, Job 1. Job was a man who lived in Uz. He was honest inside and out, a man of his word who was totally devoted to God and hated evil with a passion. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He was also very wealthy, 7,000 head of sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 teams of oxen, 500 donkeys, and a huge staff of servants. The most influential man in all the East. This is very interesting. The New King James said he was the greatest of all the people of the East. The New Living Translation says that he was the richest person in that entire area. The Message Bible says he was the most influential. And this is where I got my working definition from. That when you talk of someone who is set on high, you're referring to someone who, by the help of God, has become an influential person. And this is more than just having money in your pocket. You may have money in your pocket and not command positive influence. If you got your money in the wrong way, you are not a positive influence. Job was the most influential man in all the East. So what does it mean to be set on high? To be set on high by God is to become a man of influence, a woman of influence, a man whose word, a man whose move, even a man whose silence is communicating and remodeling society and changing lives to the glory of God. For me, that's the understanding of a man that was set on high. Job was that example. The thing we did last Thursday is to begin to find out what made Job a man that was set on high. What did God see in him before setting him on high? What did God see in him before he became such an influential man? We mentioned one thing last Thursday quickly. We said he was a man who got his priorities right. He was a man who got his priority right. If you look over that scripture again, the first thing you read about Job was his relationship with God. The next thing you read about him was his relationship with his family life. The third thing was his business. That was the order of this man's life. That was the priority of